Well, it's a fresh start. You get a new season. When we're coming home on the plane, and I told the kids today, you had a chance to reflect on the 11 games the past year, and not knowing you're going to get in. But when you do get in, it's a whole new season. We walk in the locker room. There's nothing showing from this past season. On our boards, our goal boards, it's Duquesne. It's a fresh season, but you reflect back. What could you do better? I look back as a head football coach and maybe some of the mistakes I made, and again, it comes down to fundamentals, comes down to technique. But, you get into an 11 game season and you're focused on game plan and schemes and film watching and travel. And, maybe some things we allowed to slip. And that's what I addressed to the team. Today as we went and took our first Tuesday practice, it's getting back to the basics. We probably did some drills that we did the first day of camp, full pads, in camp, to get back to the fundamentals, get back to the technique, get back to the discipline. So, it was a pretty lively practice, and we started with young guys too. This gives you an extra week that, you have some time now, like especially tomorrow, there's no school, that we can let our young guys play a little bit more than what you do with the time constraints when you get into a season and you have class. Now, shoot, we don't have class on Wednesday. That allows you to at least get those young guys to develop, because in the future, those guys are going to be huge for us. So, that whole thing of just starting fresh, learning from what we did those first 11 games and going in with a clean slate, try to correct those things we did wrong and be ready to play a league champion Duquesne on Saturday at 5:02.
They're a league champion. Obviously, you guys play in the best conference, so I don't want to say, but I'm going to say, how do you not overlook?
Yeah, because you say that every week. If we overlook any team, we're not here today. I mean, when we lost to South Dakota and got off that plane, Dana, the playoffs started. We had to beat Illinois State. We had to beat Missouri State. We had to go to Indiana State and get a win. We lost to South Dakota State, and that almost, for some of us thought that was out, but we had to get back on a plane, go down to Murray, Kentucky, and get a win. So for me, it's never about opponents. I watch every game film. You watch every game film of Duquesne. To win a league championship, look at us. We're 6 teams in our league. To win a league championship, you're doing something special. To win college football games, you're doing something special. And when you watch the games, okay, and what games do I go watch? I went and watched the Delaware game. You want to see a competitive game, they're winning in the second quarter. It's a close game. And for them, that was a big game. They're playing the CAA against the NEC. And, that game, just like us last year was a 17-14 game with 10 minutes to go in the game. So overlook, that's nonsense. It's hard to win college football games. We're going to prepare like we prepare for any team in our league. And, when we get to Thursday, Friday, I'm going to put the focus more on what our kids got, what we got, the mindset we got to have come Saturday. We're going to learn as much as we can on Duquesne on Tuesday, Wednesday, and study as much as we can. But ultimately, it comes down to our practice execution becomes game reality, that we got to execute in all 3 phases of our football program to win a football game, hard-fought football game.
What's it mean for you to be practicing on Thanksgiving, your first time ever coaching a playoff team here?
Yeah, that's what you dream for. That's what your kids. That's what you sold your kids. The kids that have been here from the beginning have gone through some hard times, and you're able to. We're able to deliver that for them. They get to practicing on a Thursday, and we're. Trust me, I told them I can't wait for Thursday morning practice. And then we'll eat turkey afterwards. But just to know that you're playing in November and it's a meaningful game. That's what you build a program on, and it's been way too long for Youngstown State. Duquesne was in the playoffs in 2018, and they got a first-round playoff win against Towson State. So they've been to the playoffs more than Youngstown State has in the past 7 years. And Coach Schmidt has been there 19-plus years. I've known him since I was a head high school coach, and he was the head coach at Westminster. I have all the respect because every year they replace players, they develop football players. and they win football games. So I have the utmost respect for Coach Schmidt and what he's done at Duquesne. You don't find too many coaches in our league. You do. Stiegelmauer retired after 20 some years after winning a championship. But those programs that have consistency like that with a head coach that long, okay, you can name them in our league. It was South Dakota State till this year. It's UNI. North Dakota State, they just reload. But those programs, that consistency, there's a reason why they win games. There's a reason why they're league champions.
How much of an advantage, I should say, is your preparation through the last, 7-8 weeks? Because now when you're in the playoffs, now everybody's good. But you came from a league where everybody's good. So you guys are going into what is normal. You've been playing the last 8 weeks.
What's fun is you get to play different leagues. You get to play someone out of the Missouri Valley. You always put a lot of emphasis that your league prepares you. I always say, when preparation meets opportunity, meaning the preparation that we had, not only the 8 league games, but the 11 games we played. You hope that preparation has prepared you for this opportunity to get a first round win. And, we'll know that at 5:02 on Saturday, but, I put a lot of emphasis that, each and every week we're tested. I told you we had to win those football games. There was no ifs, ands, and buts about it. We lose one of them, we're not having this conversation today. We lost to the number 1 team, South Dakota State, and, we left a lot of doubt after that. And for the opportunity to get in and have the opportunity to continue to play football, I'm excited, and I could tell this morning at practice it was fun getting out there. It'll be fun tomorrow with no school. Doesn't mean we're going to stay out there longer, but it gives us an opportunity to rep some of those younger guys at the end of practice that maybe haven't had those opportunities during the course of the season.
Duquesne is a team that you guys saw last year. You're going to play them again next year, so you're going to generate some familiarity with them. How are they kind of different from what you've seen so far from last year to this year, and what are you expecting?
Last year, we couldn't get to the quarterback last year. If you go back that game, he threw the ball within 2.5 seconds, and he threw very accurately, and they had great receivers. And the one's back, this year. Who number 6 is Keyshawn Brown. He's back and has over 600 yards receiving this year. But they really delivered the ball. Where this year, they want to run the football. I think they got a great stable of running backs that they put in there, and they trust those guys when they get in there, and they want to establish the run game. I saw them they had over 100 yards rushing against Delaware in the first half if you watch that football game. And that's the thing that I get to enjoy. I'm going to watch continuous tape. I'm not watching cut-ups. I'm watching every game that they played because it gives you a story of really who they are. And they're a good football team that can establish the run. They got explosives receivers. We talked about Keyshawn Brown, but DJ Powell, who they brought in from Bethune-Cookman, we've seen a lot of those athletic receivers, and they got another one. Robert Morris had one. Marvin Harrison. We had tons of those in our league, and they throw those balls up. They threw a fade route, second series of the game, first series of the game against Delaware, and guess what? It turned into a touchdown, and it's 7-0 football game at Delaware, and that's not an easy place to go play a football game. So they have athletes on the perimeter. They're going to be fundamentally sound, disciplined on the offense and defensive lines. Defensively, they do a lot of different things. It's going to be a challenge in passing situations because they bring guys from different places, and we got to rely on our fundamentals, our technique, and the rules that we have to be able to pick up what they bring us to protect our quarterback. So it's a great challenge.
One thing I think that's going to happen for them, 25 sacks, I think, is that right?
Yeah, quarterback likes to run. He likes to throw the ball downfield. So, he gets out of the pocket. He makes a lot of plays when he's out of the pocket. And, sometimes he holds the ball a little longer because he does want to throw the football. He wants to throw. Yeah, they come after you, they do. They do probably more stuff than we normally see on a given Saturday in our league. They come from different spots. They got guys moving, different fronts, different blitzes. So for us, they'll give you something new. Just like we had something new against Murray State, And our guys got, we got to go back to our fundamentals, back to our technique, back to our rules. And you hope you can pick that up, and you hope the quarterback can get rid of the ball too quickly.
They have a different quarterback than last
Yes.
year. How is he different? 'Cause,
He'll throw the ball downfield, and he has I think, 18 interceptions, but you look at his yardage, he's over 2,300 yards. So, he's not afraid to throw it downfield. And when he gets out of the pocket, that's probably when he makes most of his big plays downfield to those receivers. So if you're a defensive back, you got to be disciplined to stay on those guys. And those guys this Avell kid from Mayfield, fast kid, number 5. We saw him last year and he got hurt early, hamstring, but we knew about him coming into the game. So skill-wise, they're as good as skill that we've seen in our league.
Coach, obviously nothing going on Saturday night. What's the message to Youngstown tonight and support?
It's been a while. It's been a while. I can remember in 91, I do, as a young GA, and the excitement. And that was before any championships were won. That was coming off a season where they lost the first-round game the year before, 1990. And I just remember the excitement on Thanksgiving, the excitement on Friday, and then seeing the crowd show up. Social media and all that kind of has taken away from just a live audience, but I know what our kids feel, and I thought even against South Dakota State, that was so loud, I couldn't communicate. I mean, even to our players. So, we didn't even have close to what fills the stadium, but what we did have against, I could hear it, and our kids can hear it, and you feed off that, and I just hope, we wanted, when we took this program for a year, we wanted to put something on the field that this community would be proud of. And we hope that the works that we do in the community, whether it's helping, United Way and, helping at different places, going to schools, people see that we're more than just football players, that we're part of this community, and we really need your support, and we feel that support. And we hope that you're proud of the product that we put on the field, and like to see that on Saturday night at 5 o'clock.
How does your routine change this week with the holiday and all that?
Not much. The only thing probably I'll change is, we usually have a Friday morning, practice, and I'm going to push that back. I'm going to give the guys, 24 hours between 1 o'clock on Thursday. We practice Thursday morning. We'll feed them Thanksgiving meal at noon on Thursday. Then they'll have a 24-hour grace if they go home. But a lot of our guys aren't going home. So what do? You open your houses. Guys are, I just tell them, let us know now, because my wife, if I don't give her a number today of how many kids are going to be over, it makes, she just don't want to run out of food. So, there's a lot of logistics that go into it. And luckily, we have some great support staff. My director of player personnel, Tony Chira, I said, he's making a list of all the kids, because I don't want them sitting in dorms. And if they have a place to go, that's great. But what's fun is you open your house. We did it for Easter last year, and we probably had 18 players over. Most of the kids go with either a buddy, they go somewhere, and the rest, guess what? They can come over to my house and have as much turkey ham as possible. But I need to know today, not Thursday. I've done it on the day of, and I tell you, it's tough.
Is that tougher, the game plan than the game plan?
What's that? Yeah. Yeah, and luckily, and that's why we have support staff that do no coaching. Their job is to make sure our kids are taken care of off the field, and that's a big part of it, making sure we feed. The cafeterias aren't open, so what kids that live far away, what are they going to do Friday? Are we going to feed? We got to feed them Friday. It's like feeding an army. And like I said, we'll come back Friday at 1 o'clock, and we'll have a lunch for everybody that's in town, and then we'll do our practice on Friday, and then do our Friday night and get ready to play Saturday.
Last play game on Saturday, Tyshon limped off the field. How's he?
He's good. Yep. He practiced today. So, health-wise, we have dings, Jake Benio's the only one that, it's just, what he does in our run game. But, Jake's been out, and, I'm fortunate for him that, not ready to go this week. But we'll continue to do rehab with him and try to get him healthy. I'm not going to put somebody on the field that isn't ready to play.